2 months ago, I finished Amazon's Fallout TV series. I really enjoyed it and left me wanting for more of the Fallout universe. I knew I had to go replay some Fallout games, but didn't want to go the cloud gaming route this time. Plus, since I'm now a working adult, I don't have much free time these days, and since my TV is shared, I wanted a handheld experience that I could just pick up and play 30 minutes to an hour every day. So I started searching online for the Steam Deck OLED, ROG Ally, and all those other big handhelds, but surprise, they were super expensive. So I started searching online for the original LCD Steam Deck, which came out more than 2 years ago. I found that all the different versions that have been available refurbished or secondhand for less than $300. So I said why not, and met up with a dude using Korea's version of less sketchy Facebook Marketplace and bought a used 1TB LCD Steam Deck for just $290. After using it for 2 months, I can happily say it was my best personal purchasing decision in a long time. And I also think buying it used or refurbished right now is the perfect buy for ex-gamers who don't have a ton of free time anymore but want to game again. Why I think that is for a lot of different reasons, which includes the surprisingly amazing build quality. So the base original version of the Steam Deck with just 64 gigs was just $399 to start with, which honestly isn't much more than the Nintendo Switch, and I hate how the Switch feels. The Switch feels like a cheap plastic toy that you can get from a supermarket toy section, but the thing amazingly plays Nintendo games. But as soon as I held this original Steam Deck, I was shocked how high quality it felt in the hands. The shell is still plastic, but it's built really solid and dense with minimal creaking, D-pad, and all the buttons you need, including some extra ones on the back, and analog sticks are also full size and feel amazing. I'd say the analog sticks are smoother than the ones on an Xbox controller. There's also trackpads on both sides, and even though I almost never use them, the haptics are really good for something like this. On top of that, there's so much capability packed into the hardware. USB-C with display out up to 8K 60Hz or 4K 120Hz for playing this on the big screen, audio jack for wired audio, you can use Bluetooth for wireless headphones, and even a keyboard and mouse. There's a micro SD slot to upgrade your storage. You can even open it up and upgrade the SSD, which the previous owner did to upgrade this thing from 64GB eMMC to 1TB SSD. With how well it's built and all these things baked in, the Steam Deck's hardware is so much better than any other gaming handheld that I've had over the years, including the PS Vita. The only part that feels a little flimsy is the top ventilation, which really is a non-issue since it's got nothing to do with your gameplay. You do have to keep in mind that this thing is big, like really big and heavy. It weighs 670 grams or about 1.5 pounds, and especially with the carrying case, it will take up a ton of space in your bag if you're trying to travel with this thing. It's so heavy that it starts to bother my wrist a little after about 30 minutes of gaming, but like a lot of grown-ups, I don't have too much time to game anyways, and I bought this for the house and I just play on my desk like this. So I personally don't have any problems with the size or the weight. And I also don't see it being a problem for anyone with the same or similar use case as me. Also, I know that a lot of people holding up on not buying the LCD Steam Deck is mostly because of the display. With the OLED Steam Deck being a thing, I totally understand why you might feel that way because I did too. But this LCD display is actually really good. Coming from the super low contrast, low resolution LCD on Nintendo Switch, the Steam Deck's LCD display looks 1,000 times better. The spec sheet isn't super impressive, but in person, the 7-inch display is really big on a big handheld where I never felt the need to connect this thing to a bigger screen, and the 400 nits of brightness is really impressive for hardware at this price. The resolution is definitely nothing to brag about, but still at only 7 inches, this still looks pretty pixel dense, and I really don't feel the need for a higher res or 1080p display. Considering the excellent contrast and color reproduction indoors, I really thought this was OLED. Both dark, moody environments and bright, vibrant settings look great on here. So for those of you that were hesitant on the LCD Steam Deck because it's not an OLED, seriously, don't worry, this is a great display, and altogether for the price, you're getting top of the line hardware quality. The only thing I'll knock it for is some backlight bleeding that seems to be on a lot of units. I kind of have it, but I personally don't even notice it unless I'm playing in complete darkness. Also, while it is a touchscreen, the touch responsiveness is pretty bad and it's frustrating as hell to use the keyboard or as a general input method. But besides that, I'm not knocking this display anymore considering how cheap you can buy this thing, and plus it even looks better than some of my cheap tablets that I've had before. The Steam Deck has front-facing dual stereo speakers, which are actually half decent. They're not good enough to impress anyone, they're not crispy, and some games have some bad distortion at first launch, but they're really loud for indoors and I really don't find them lacking. If I want even more immersion, I just connect my Bluetooth headphones, which is really easy to access on SteamOS. Speaking of which, SteamOS is such a simple, optimized operating system to just buy, install, and play games. is Steam, so all those Steam games that you've bought over the years and never got to play are right on here. You can take advantage of all those Steam sales. SteamOS is based on Linux, and Valve basically made the Steam Deck so flexible that you can just boot Windows on it and basically use it as a full-fledged PC. Valve even provides Windows drivers on their official website. That's great and all, but for what I'm looking for, the stock SteamOS software is the only thing I need, and I'd recommend the same for most of you watching this video. While there are games, especially multiplayer games, that you simply can't play on SteamOS because of anti-cheat software or some Windows specific things, almost everything else plays on here, even if they're not deck verified. This is all possible through Proton, which is a translation layer that makes it possible for you to run Windows-based games right on SteamOS. And just like how good Rosetta is on Mac, Proton is just as seamless. Both verified and unverified Steam games run super well, launch times are really fast, and the best thing I give SteamOS credit for is how sleep works. When you turn off the screen during the middle of the game, your game is just paused. And when you turn it back on, you're right where you left off. There's no long wake up times either, you just pick it up and play it again. For games that don't have too many save points, and for my kind of time to time casual gaming, this is just what I need, and it actually makes it a lot more convenient compared to a full-fledged console or a gaming PC. Plus, even while you're in the game, you can access so many quick settings, and you can even step out of the game and go through your library, the store, your chats, and anything, and then go right back into the game. All this, and it really doesn't feel like you're putting a toll on the RAM. For such a low price, you're getting a respectable amount of RAM and specs in general. Inside, there's a custom AMD APU with 16 gigs of RAM, Zen 2 based CPU, and a 1.6 teraflop GPU. 1.6 teraflops might not sound that crazy, but the Steam Deck plays like it can do a lot more. All the mid to late 2010 games that I've been wanting to play again, like Fallout 4, Hitman, and of course Skyrim, run like a breeze on the Steam Deck. I've also been playing a game of NBA 2K24 every night before bed, and I'm a very satisfied man. I'm easily getting consistent mid-50s to 60 FPS on all these games at mid to high settings. Especially for verified games, I really never have to fidget with the graphic settings at all. Almost all the games that I've installed on here are simple install and play, which is a huge convenience once you're a working adult. The Steam Deck does seem to automatically turn down draw distance, close-up details, and environmental textures for maximum performance, which I think is the right choice since the relatively small screen doesn't make it that noticeable. The character models and general textures look awesome in all the games that I've played. The good thermal management keeps things running well too without any performance throttling. Now once you start running more of the really graphically intensive games like Cyberpunk 2077 or Red Dead Redemption 2, you'll definitely have to turn down settings so low and deal with a locked 30 FPS experience. But with the screen size and the relatively consistent performance you can get with any of these games, I'd say is still worth playing on here. But yeah, the optimal games to truly experience the best of Steam Deck are all those older AAA titles that you bought during all those Steam sales, sports games, and high quality indies that are always coming out. It's really just the amount of performance that you need at such a low cost where you don't need to do any more research on cheap gaming laptops or anything like that. If your use case is similar to mine, just get the LCD Steam Deck. What's a lot less promising is the battery life. This has a 40 watt-hour battery inside, but with most 3D games, you're not going to get more than 2 hours. On all the games that I regularly play on here, including Resident Evil 2 and NBA 2K24, I average 1.5 to 2 hours max. You can eke out some more for some less demanding indie games, and you could even get less than 1.5 hours for even higher fidelity games. So you're going to need a big power bank if you're playing this on a long flight, but as a working adult with maybe 30 minutes to 1 hour to game every night at home, this has been no problem for me. It's really just enough for what I need the Steam Deck for. You definitely have to charge it up every time you use it so you have some juice for the next play session. That does get annoying if you forget to do it. Once you see the battery low 10% warning, you have to run to a charger. Even with a max 45 watt charging, the Steam Deck still takes 2 to 2.5 hours to get a full charge. That charging time is based on you not using the Steam Deck during the charge, so yeah, it's pretty slow. But I also only play this every night before bed, so I just have it charging over the night and I'm good every day I need it. So pretty bad battery life, but also doesn't matter to me. Okay, with all those things out of the way, here's some pure gameplay so you can see what this thing can actually do.
Taking a glance at the makeup of both rosters, what stands out is how many veterans there are on each team.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, BA, that both of these coaches really value veteran experience. I mean, guys that can produce on the court, but also help mentor the younger players.
Now here's Durant. The rebound by Embiid.
not long ago.
Warning.
Hostile over there. I cracked an Scottish shield. Badly hostile spotted.
Attention.
Why is she doing this? Why doesn't she turn back? She's doing this for him. She wants to rescue him. He's already dead.
The bridge to Helheim. I forget its name.
There'll be hot dogs for the men, Lime Rickies for the girls, and amusements for all ages.
Okay, so that's my re-review of getting a used LCD Steam Deck in 2024. At the price you can get this for right now, I think it's a no-brainer to get this if you're a casual gamer that doesn't have a gaming PC or the latest console. The hardware and build quality is top-notch, the LCD display is actually really nice and I don't feel the need to have an OLED. SteamOS is really user-friendly and the Steam Deck basically plays anything you throw at it. Do I want it to be lighter with better battery life? Yes, but that's not even on my mind considering how cheap I got this for, and I highly recommend for anyone like me who's looking to get back into games without breaking the bank. Okay, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know your thoughts on the original Steam Deck and gaming handhelds in general. And if you like this video, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel for more just like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.